Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Give me 1 second. I feel like I'm not hearing myself very well. There we go. Oh, okay, now I'm hearing myself. Now I'm here. Just wanted to make sure. I want to make sure. I started late today. I apologize for that. I want to make sure I didn't also have technical difficulties at the same time. I just got so caught up. I was watching a video on the NAZ Elite doing a 26-mile run, which seems like a bonkers thing to do in preparation for a marathon, but they were doing it and I just lost track of time. That's what happens to me a lot of times. I open up my computer or I look at my phone intending to do one thing, and then all of a sudden, next thing I know, I'm watching YouTube videos. But I'm here now. I apologize again for being late. And because it's Thursday, we're going to do a little bit of happy hour. Hopefully you brought a recovery beverage of choice. For me today, I brought 4 recovery beverages because I need lots of recovery. I got 4 different flavors of Nuun. I think I've had some of these before. One of them I've been drinking, the lemon lime. That's one I've been drinking lately. Spoiler alert. No focus. No, I'm not going to get any focus on it. There we go. Lemon lime. Spoiler alert. It's not my favorite flavor, but my favorite flavor, the mango citrus, has caffeine in it, and I don't always want caffeine, so I wanted to taste a whole bunch of different other flavors. Lemon lime was the first in the foray. I've also got fruit punch, orange, and watermelon for today. Before we get into that, let's say hi to everyone listening on the podcast. Hopefully you're having a nice run. Temperatures got real fall real quickly over here in Chicago. That's the Midwest. The weather will change in a moment's notice. So I was like, the kids were cold this morning. They were like, I think we need gloves because it was in the mid 50s or low 50s for today. So hopefully you guys out there in the podcast are having a good run. Or if you're driving home, probably a good day to roll down the windows and let some cool air in. Hopefully you're enjoying that. All right, and everyone watching this on YouTube after the fact, hopefully you're sitting down with a recovery beverage as well, and maybe it's the time in the evening where you can have something a little stronger. So if you are having that, cheers. All right, let's see who we got in the chat today. First, Terrence Huey's got a real great recovery beverage. Suda Sue says, let's go. And he says that San Francisco has Toppling Goliath drops maybe once or twice a year. What? Oh, I didn't know that. Next time I go to the San Francisco area, I guess I know what to bring now if I do that. I did have a chance to go visit Toppling Goliath, the brewery and the tasting room, because it's in Decorah, Iowa. I mean, they have 2. I think they have 2 facilities. I think they once they hit national level, I think they opened up a second brewery and distribution center in Florida, I think. But their main one is in Decorah, Iowa, and that's where the Crater Trail 50K was. So I was able to check that out. Very fun place. I was definitely the only one wearing a mask, and I got a lot of weird looks when I went in there because it's rural Iowa up there. Anyway, but it's a great place and a really great beer. Casey A. Ritual Warning says, good afternoon, Co and Co. Nice work on the 20-mile last weekend. Thanks. He says, I was pretty happy with my performance at Black Cat 10-miler on Sunday as well. Executed my plan and exceeded my goals. Oh, awesome. That's great. Let's get a cowbell for that one because that is fantastic news. And executing the race plan well is a good feeling in and of itself. But executing the plan and exceeding your goals, those don't always go well together. I mean, they always go well together, but they don't always come together. So the fact that you got them both is awesome. Martha's here giving us a little bit of the wave emoji. I love it. It's my favorite one. And she says she's making some salmon burgers with fixins for lunch. Fixins in quotations. She says, Whole Foods has really good salmon burgers ready to cook. That's a good idea. That sounds tasty. I've been thinking a lot about Whole Foods. So I think one of the videos that I'm going to make for this year is, last year I made Chicago Marathon Spectators Guide, how to get around, good places to go watch, how to kind of plan out a route for the day. This year I think I'm going to do more of something like Chicago Marathon, run the Chicago Marathon like a local kind of thing, and talk about some places that I go to and rely on. And I'm like, do I put Whole Foods on the list? If I were traveling somewhere, I would probably eat at Whole Foods. I don't know, I like to go out to eat, but especially now, I don't really eat inside anywhere. So it's Whole Foods it makes a lot of sense. So I don't know, is that going to be super? That's going to be super lame. I can't put Whole Foods on there. But I have been thinking about Whole Foods a lot. And we've been talking about Whole Foods pizza a couple times this week. So I feel like it's something I got to do. All right. That has me thinking, though, what I got to do is I'm going to start putting these tabs in so they can dissolve. So I'm going to put one in each. I have 4 different cups here. of ice water. And I'm going to crack open these Nuuns, drop one in each container, and let them effervesce. It's one of my favorite verbs, by the way, effervesce. That way, when I'm ready and I'm nice and thirsty, I'll be ready to take in some recovery. Now, for all these, I think that with Nuun, I think now, I don't know if it's brand new or relatively new or what, but I know that they make like Nuun with sugar in it now for you to take during an activity. But for the most part, Nuun has always been an electrolyte drink. Low or no sugar electrolytes to kind of replenish what you're losing in sweat. So that way, and also, it tastes kind of good. So it's a good way to encourage yourself to rehydrate. And that's what all these are. I think all the numbers are going to be about the same calorie-wise, sugar-wise, and electrolyte-wise. These are all labeled sport for exercise, right? And so even though it says sport for exercise, I think that means in like distinction to like they have rest stuff that has like chamomile flavors in it and things like that. And then they have immunity stuff that might have like echinacea or ginger or some other kind of herbal medicines along those lines. But these all still have no sugar or low sugar. I think they are 15 calories for this one, the fruit punch, and 4 grams of carbs. But it says total 1 sugar. I don't know. There's some sugar math going on. But as far as the electrolytes, they've got calcium, magnesium, chloride as potassium chloride, and sodium. There's sodium bicarb, which is what makes it fizzy, and then sodium carbonate. I think also make it fizzy, but you end up with 300 milligrams of sodium and some potassium as well. So like sodium and potassium are like the main ones that I look for out of simplicity, not because like those are like the only ones to look for, but otherwise it's information overload for me. So that's kind of what we'll do. We'll let those kind of marinate and percolate for a little bit. All right, I'm going to scroll down to the bottom to the chat so that I could keep up with you guys. Yaroslav Volochi says, hello. Hello, Yaroslav. Hope you're doing well. And Anthony says, hello, everyone in Kofuzi. I have my first 50-mile ultra in Vermont this Sunday. Exciting. Kind of nervous of the almost 9,000 feet of elevation with a 12-hour cutoff. That's a lot. That's a big day. That's a really big day, Anthony. I would be nervous about it too, because that is just a lot of, I don't want to say running, because I feel like with that, there's a lot of power hiking that's going to be going on with 9,000 feet of elevation gain. So yeah, that's hilly. It's hilly, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully you get really good weather to be out there on the weekend. Chris Dyke says, I've only tried Nuun once during a run, and my bottle wanted to explode every 2 minutes. Yeah, because it's the fizziness. The bicarb that's in there is what makes it fizz, kind of like a what's it? Alka-Seltzer, kind of like that. Plop plop fizz fizz. It helps it dissolve really well. I also feel like that's why Nuun, of all the tablet drinks, probably I don't know if they're patented. I don't know why like others don't feel more like Nuun. Others that dissolve from tablet form don't really dissolve as well. Nuun dissolves really really well. Let's see if there's any patent markings on this. I don't see it, but. Yeah, so I don't know why people haven't just reverse engineered it. Anyway, but I do really like the way that Nuun dissolves. But that does mean if you put it in a bottle, like on a bike, that every time you open it, pop it open, a lot of gas is going to be released. So that's something to definitely watch out for. All right, that's Enu Betra says, I know Alan Lim, inventor of Scratch, had a whole thing about how most sports drinks have too much sugar to get properly absorbed. Figured Nuun original was based on that same idea. I'm not sure how Nuun originally started out. Now, I think that, I think it's interesting that Alan says that most sports drinks have too much sugar to probably get absorbed because Scratch just came out with a 100 grams of sugar per 16 ounce drink mix that I actually kind of like. It's a lot, and it's very, very like syrup. It's like there's a thickness to it, but interesting how things started and how things are going. But I'm not sure how Nuun started out though. I don't know if Nuun started out as a drink kind of like Crystal Light. You know what I mean? Like, remember those things, the Crystal Light packets everyone used to not everyone, but a lot of people used to carry around, people that were trying to like lose weight and get off the sodas. And they would like open up a water bottle and then pour like the little sachet, like the little, what's that word? Little packet of like powder into the water bottle. You know, I feel like it reminds me a lot of that. But I think like the brilliance of Nuun is the form factor, which I really like the tablets, especially when I'm traveling. But also because it was different in form factor from like Crystal Light or like the other like water drops that you put in for like flavored water, it didn't feel to me like a diet drink or like a calorie watching type of drink. It just seemed like, oh, electrolytes. Got it. I understand. Gatorade, like the stuff that Gatorade has, but without all the sugars, because maybe you got enough sugars from when you were exercising and now you're after exercising, but you still want to replenish what you lost in the sweat. See, that makes sense to me. I don't know. I keep wanting to call her my coach but she's not my coach really. But Coach Robin was like, she used to, when Nuun first came out, she does remember that Nuun used to sponsor races and you could get either water or Nuun. I don't know if they still do. I think they stopped doing it. But you used to be able to get Nuun like at a race, like a half marathon or a 5K or something. And then she would talk to her athletes who were like, oh, I don't know. I hit the wall at the end of this race. I just felt like I wasn't getting enough sugar. I felt hungry. My nutrition seemed off. And they were like, what did you drink during the race? And they're like, oh, I had the Nuun. And they're like, Nuun doesn't have sugar, which is good for some people, what they want, exactly what they want, but maybe not for others. All right. We're doing okay on this. I'm looking at this lemon lime over here. There's still a little bit of tablet left at the bottom, so I'll get to it soon. Sai says, when you're running, holding the selfie holder and camera looks exhausting. It's really not that bad at all. I don't really even notice it. Although I will say that the GoPro Hero 10 feels a little bit heavier than the GoPro Hero 9. And the GoPro Hero 9 felt a lot heavier than the GoPro Hero 8, which in turn felt a lot heavier than the GoPro Hero 7. So we've come a long way, and in terms of weight, we're going in the wrong direction. I'd happily give up the front-facing screen to save weight, but that's just me. I think the vast majority of people probably want the front-facing screen. Vivek Bala says, Nuun's pretty good. I typically use them right after my long runs. See, for me, right after a long run, I'll go for the protein shake. But what I like to do is in the afternoons, like right about like this time of day, after a long run or a workout in the morning, then in the afternoon, instead of my afternoon coffee, or usually with my afternoon coffee, let's be honest, I'll then like try to make sure I have a couple of maybe like 2 Nuuns in the afternoon and the evening, maybe one after dinner kind of thing before I go to bed. So that's kind of like what I do. Ooh, Andrew Hahn. He's doing a 5K tonight, doing the race judicata. You know, I forgot that was this week. I should have planned because I didn't plan for that. But I realized that today that it was this week when I was listening to the Chicago Athlete podcast. It's a weird podcast. I don't know if you listen to it, Andrew. What basically it's strange because it's basically they make a list and they read off all the local like fun runs, 5Ks, all the way up to marathons and like ultra marathons that are within like 100, sometimes 200 mile radius of Chicago, along with some of the winners. And then they'll list all the events that are coming up the next week. And that's it. That's the entire podcast. But they were talking about race judicata today. And I was like, that's an event that it's a fun 5K to run in. But you got to make sure you're at the front of the pack though, if you're trying to run fast. Because if you're trying to run fast and you like line up, I'm not going to elbow my way to the front today. Because a lot of people are out there and they like run fast for like, it's lawyers, right? So like they got to look good at the beginning. So like the first 200 meters people run. And then after that, a lot of people start walking, which is fine. That's fine for a lot of people to do, but it's just funny because it's lawyers. But that was a fun race. Not because the race it'd be weird for like a normie, like a person that's not involved in the legal profession to do, but yeah, I thought that'd be a fun one to kind of just hop in there. But I forgot that it was this week, and I already did my run today, and I did a workout yesterday, and I've got one planned tomorrow, so it's not going to work out for me, unfortunately. All right, Daniel says he's got a shoe question. He's going on a trip this weekend and wanted to bring only one shoe. I feel like that's a really tough question, and this is kind of some of my favorite types of questions to answer. He's got gravel, pavement, and loose dirt with some little pesky rocks. Should I bring the Novablast, Pegs, Evoride, Cliftons, or Romero 14s? Ooh, a 14, huh? Gravel, pavement, loose dirt with some little pesky rocks. I think that we can eliminate the Evoride. Clifton is probably, I mean, if your pace is going to be like easy to moderate on that, I think the Clifton is probably going to be the one that I would pick. Also, the Clifton is a very comfortable shoe to travel in and to commute in. So if you're going to walk around, like go to the airport, I'm assuming you're in the airport, or even if you're driving. If you're driving, the Cliftons I think are going to be pretty comfortable to be in all day. I think I'd probably pick the Vomero over the Peg, just because the Pegs, I think my feet swell when I'm on an airplane. Although I've had it with the Vomeros as well. The time I went to DC with the Vomero 14s, I remember that specifically. Both the Vomeros and the Pegs have given me a lot of like, my feet are very uncomfortable in an airplane in both of those shoes. Otherwise, I feel like the Vomero 14 is a good choice. The Nova Blast will work too. Depends on how like loose the dirt is and how pesky the little pesky rocks are. But I'd say probably the Cliftons. I really like this question a lot. I really do like this question a lot. I think I might have to make a video about like picking one and only one shoe for a weekend. But how do I make that video? I think maybe I'll just like put in a call in for some people who are traveling like Daniel and have the same thing. Be like, all right, tell me where you're going and what kind of terrain you might encounter, and I'll pick a shoe for you. I like that. That sounds fun. I feel like the more I do shoe YouTube, the more I am turning into the Ben and Jerry from City Slickers. I've been older than Billy Crystal and City Slickers for a long time now. I think that in that movie, I think their ages are like 37 or 38, something like that. Believe it or not, in City Slickers. But I just feel like more than ever, as me and my buddies age, we are becoming the City Slickers like cast. But I think one part of me is like I'm turning into the Ben and Jerry's character. Do you guys remember that from the movie? They were like, what ice cream would you pair if you're having a lamb chops with a Merlot reduction and mashed potatoes and green beans? And the guy thinks about it for a long time and he's like, mint chocolate chip. And then the other guy, I guess the Jerry of the Ben and Jerry, he's like, oh, that's so good. That's awesome. And then someone else is like, how do we know if you're right? And they're like, we're Ben and Jerry. Of course we're right. But sometimes I feel like that whenever people ask me some running shoe questions. So I'm like, please, Daniel, let me know if I made a good choice for you, because I always want to know if I am, in fact, right. All right, Wicked World ASL rocks it. All right, look, while we're doing that, let's get into some lemon lime. Wicked World ASL rock says, is the Puma Liberate a half marathon shoe? I would say Liberate. That's a fast, wait. I got to look this up real quick. I always get so confused on the Puma shoes. Puma Liberate. Not the Nitro. Yeah, the Liberate is the low fast one. I think if you're fast, if you're very fast, I would say like 120s or faster, then I would say you could probably run a half marathon in the Puma Liberate. I don't think I would want the Puma Liberate for a half marathon. I would run it at a road 5K, maybe a road 10K, but I'd probably rather would have something with carbon in it for a road 10K. So that's kind of where I'd be with that one. So I'm not sure. I think it's very, very floppy, like super neutral. And it's very low to the ground. And so there's just not a lot to protect your feet. So for me, I probably wouldn't go with it. Garrett says for his recovery beverage for happy hour, he mixed up some Colorado Cola Tailwind. That is such a good flavor, isn't it? I don't know why. I mean, I guess I know why I like the flavor, because it's tasty, but it's just like, it sounds like the name of it, the idea of it makes me want to not like it for some reason. But I really like Colorado Cola Tailwind. It's probably my favorite. The Adventurer says, I know Hammer does a fizzy one too. It does also okay. I'm going to have to try that. I'm going to have to try that for sure, because the Science and Sport one, they have a tablet. It's really nice. It looks really nice. Very convenient. You get more per tube than you do with Nuun, which is good. But it doesn't dissolve well. It leaves like particulates in there, All right, so this lemon lime, I don't know, it doesn't taste like lemon lime to me. It tastes like if I had to drink something at the doctor that they said was it's some sort of medicine, but it's lemon lime flavored medicine. That's kind of what this lemon lime tastes like. There's something about it that doesn't taste natural. It doesn't taste like fruits. It doesn't taste like lemon. It doesn't really taste like lime. If anything, it tastes more lime-ish than lemon, so it should be like lime lemon rather than lemon lime. Not that that matters that much, but it's okay. It gets the job done. But this lemon lime, I've been drinking it for a while. It is not my favorite. All right. Neon 001 says, oh, I'm saying that right. I'm probably not. Says, hi, have you ever made a video of your technical setup with watch, stride, and how you evaluate your runs? If you do, that is. Thanks for great content and reviews. You know, I haven't talked about like exactly how I set them up, but like if there's a video that has like a workout in the title, like for example, last week I did the Yasso 800 workout. That's one where I'll have the stride foot pod set up with the watch. And then I'll go back and look at the data and I'll show you how I'm looking at power numbers, heart rate numbers, and I use an external heart rate monitor. In this case, I use a chest strap. So I'll kind of go over like how I look at numbers. So that's one that you could look at. And usually it's like my workout videos. I should probably make a playlist for workouts so that people can kind of see that better. But usually when I do that, it's talking head kind of like this, but I put my head in the corner. And then most of the time you're looking at the data. So that would be one to look at. Look up the Yasso 800. That's probably the closest to that I think you're looking for. Chris Dyke had some intervals on the turf today. Sacrifice pace. But that cushion, it is nice. It is nice. I've been definitely trying to learn some lessons from other runners that are spending more time on softer surfaces and sacrificing that pace so that way I can feel a little bit better after the run. All right, let's get to this next one. The next one I'm going to go out of order. I'm going to get to the fruit punch because I think I've had fruit punch before. I don't remember it being quite so pink, but I generally, if I'm new to something, I'll pick fruit punch. I always like red. I mean, red is always a good color for drinks, I feel like. I feel like I've had this before, but I also don't feel like I've had this before. Definitely has like just the generic red drink flavor to it. It's a little bit lighter, but the pinkness of it that I'm looking at makes me think that it's going to be more like pink lemonade, and maybe that's throwing me off a little bit. I'm getting a little bit of strawberry at the end, and I'm definitely feeling a lot of fizziness. Not like a bubble water fizzy, but there's definitely like a fizz to it. So pretty good, pretty good. A little bit soapy, maybe. I don't know, there's a little bit of that too in this one. All right, so two down. All right, I'm going to scroll down a little bit further because I've been rambling and you guys have been chatting. Okay. MC1796 wants to say, the super shoe with the best heel lockdown. He's the next percent, but doesn't really have that track spike lockdown I'd love. I would look at the Endorphin Pro or the Endorphin Speed. Those I feel like fit really well, and those shoes are hard to get off when you're done. But I also thought the next percent did a pretty good job. I also, though, would look at, I feel like the Metaspeed Sky has a little bit more of a collar around the heel collar in terms of some foam padding. So I feel like that helps it to stay on as well. So that's another one that I would look at, those two. All right. Says anything that tastes of berry should be avoided. It's foul. You know, usually when things are just like generically listed as berry, though, I don't tend to like it. Because then for me, when that happens, it usually tastes a lot like grape with something tart at the end, and like I don't really like grape flavored things. I don't know why. I've just never enjoyed grape. I don't like grape jelly. I love the idea of grape soda, but I don't like grape soda. Of the flavored, like the fruity sodas, orange soda is certainly my favorite. Back when I used to drink soda, orange Fanta was my favorite, absolute favorite. Sunkist was also good, but it's never caffeinated. So like, if you go with the Fanta, you get some caffeine too. I'm pretty sure. All right. Someone said something about Facebook. Affluent Journey says, Facebook's just starting me Nuun ads while watching. Really did it? Oh, that's interesting. You know, someone was trying to tell me, like, you know, it's not that our phones are listening to us so much, but our phones take what they do know about us from, like, browsing history and stuff, and then they combine it with proximity data because the phones know who they're near around. So it's like, you know, it could be, you know, there's always a story of like, yeah, I was talking with my mom at her house about like her KitchenAid coffee maker. And I've never done a search for KitchenAids, but the next thing I know, I have a KitchenAid coffee maker showing up in an Instagram ad, and I think it's because of like, well, maybe she owns the KitchenAid and talks about it, or maybe it was posted about it, or she's researched it and then you're near her. So I don't know. Like people have like some different theories on why that kind of stuff happens. But what was I doing that I felt like something happened recently where the kind of like a very similar thing happened where I was watching, I don't know. But this thing did say Nuun on it in terms of the title of the live stream today. So maybe that's what it is. But there was something else that I was like thinking about. I'll let you guys know if it comes up. Sai says, Kafuzi, why are you wearing glasses? Well, I wear glasses. I have very terrible vision. I'm likely going to probably go blind at some point in my lifetime, if I'm fortunate to live long enough. Terrible eyes. Since like the 5th grade. That's when like I started wearing glasses, and like for a long time, for a good like I would say 15 years after that, every single year my prescription went really bad. It got worse and worse and worse every single year. I did manage like a good 4 or 5 year spell where my prescription didn't change, but these glasses prescription changed just a little bit. So it's going on. I have markers for the doctors always look for early onset glaucoma for me because my eyes have just a strange baseline. But I just have terrible vision, so that's why I need glasses. And I just got new ones, so I wanted to wear them today. Chris Dyke says, I have an opportunity to get the Endorphin Pro Plus, but I think I'm going to decline. Too many shoes in the current rotation. What happened to you? I don't know, Chris. You're going to decline it? I saw part of the Endorphin Pro event. Well, I guess was it an Endorphin Pro Plus event, or are we calling it a Saucony event? What were they calling it? I watched some of it. I watched the tail end of the women's 10. Was it the 10K when Grayson Murphy won? She's having a great year, right? Man, she's having a good year. She's been killing it. She did fairly well. She participated in some of the track trials, or at least did she go to Eugene for the track trials? I know she was in some races leading up to it, and then I don't remember if she made it to the track trials or not, but she had some strong performances on the way, and then she's been running trails in Europe in the Golden Trail Series. Is it? She's been just taking the wins like crazy, and it's interesting because I don't know if you guys remember, before she was with Saucony, she was with NAZ Elite with Hoka. And I felt like, I remember like watching an interview of hers like right afterwards. And like, she's a professional, so she didn't want to like badmouth her prior team. But she was kind of like, sometimes some teams, no matter how great they are, they just aren't great fit for certain people. And I was like, oh, how do I understand that? What is she trying to say? But, it was just really, that's all it was. It just wasn't a good fit for her. And so the way she's training now seems to be very different. Doesn't seem like she's on a team. Occasionally she's with like McKenna Morley. I saw her recently in an Instagram story with Daniela Moreno, which was pretty cool to see, of Hoka. But she's been training very differently, and it seems to be really paying off. She's been having some really great results, so pretty cool. I didn't get to watch the men's, but I did see Jared Ward post about it on Instagram later. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. But for me, I'm not really all that. I didn't try to get the Endorphin Pro Plus, and I don't. It doesn't come out yet. It comes out in 5 days, right? 28th. So I don't think I'm gonna try and get it either. I don't know. Leanna's saying, "All right, co-fam, she's off to cook noodles." Ooh, that sounds good. That's good. Fernando Herrera says, in terms of berries, though, the wild berry churlies are nice. I had the wild berry truly when we were in Falmouth. I'm pretty sure I didn't like it. I'm pretty sure that's one that I chugged because I was just like, I'm going to drink this, but I don't think I'm going to like it. So let's just get it over with. So that's my experience with the wild berry truly. All right, let's get to watermelon. I'm excited about this watermelon. Watermelon, I'm pretty sure I haven't had. Now, watermelon favorite, I love watermelon. It's one of my favorite fruits, especially like after a run too. Oh, it's so good. But watermelon drinks, I tend to not like. They never taste really like watermelon. They taste like if like a computer, like if the Matrix was trying to like make watermelon, that's what I feel like watermelon drinks taste like. This smells like watermelon though, or it smells like a watermelon Jolly Rancher. This is good. It tastes like watermelon. I like it. I think this is my new favorite Nuun. Watermelon. Really good. You know, like if you ever cut up a bunch of watermelon and you put it in a bowl and you let that bowl sit, the juice seeps out to the bottom. It tastes like you put a little bit of bubbles in that. It's really good. I like it. Frank Lewis says, tastes like chicken? Yeah, that's why everything tastes like chicken, because they don't know what to make it taste like. Run Tommy says, watermelon is good, but watermelon favorite candy is yuck. I mean, I love the watermelon Jolly Rancher. I'm not really a candy person. I don't particularly go after sweets. I'd much rather have a salty, crunchy snack than a candy snack. But watermelon Jolly Ranchers, to this day, the thought of one makes my mouth water just a little bit. So good. So good. Tracy Smith said, have you seen the new Serious Runner Last Key workout? So spot on for all of us getting close to go time. Yeah. I feel like we talked about it the other day too. Like that one hits a little bit too close to home. You know, I want to be like, if I knew Steven Ganoza, I'd be like, too close. It's too close. Now you're hurting people's feelings. It's not funny anymore. That's how like spot on it is that they're like, I don't know. He's tapping a nerve a little bit too closely for me for it to be funny anymore. Now it's starting to feel a little bit mean. But I mean, ultimately, that's what makes it great art, right? That being said, I very rarely change shoes during a workout. The only time I've ever changed shoes during a workout is if I'm putting on track spikes. That's the only time. So I'm not a shoe changer, for sure. Running with pizzas. As a fellow Korean, how about gochujang flavored Nuun? I think that would be gross. I mean, I don't like spicy drinks at all. Like when people are like a habanero beer, how's that sound? And I'd be like, no, that just sounds disgusting. I don't think I would like it. The only spicy drink that I will tolerate is a Bloody Mary. That I will have. But a gochujang Nuun, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it would have to be like if you were doing gochujang flavor, it would have to be something like maybe like a jerky, you know, like a vegetarian jerky, like a mushroom jerky. I would try that. But like a Nuun, I don't know. I don't think I could do that today. Tracy Smith says for her, she was Tracy, or for Tracy, you know, I don't know if Tracy is a man or woman. I apologize. Tracy says, for the changing shoes for the workout, that was me today, sadly. It's okay. It's okay to change your shoes for the workout. But I wanted to just kind of like distance myself a little bit from the person that Steven Ganoza is parodying. That's funny. Yeah. Enter a name here. Says, anyone running the Milwaukee Lakefront Marathon in 10.3? Pretty good course. 125 feet of elevation loss. Ooh, that does sound nice. Yeah. You know, the thing with the Milwaukee Lakefront Marathon is always right around Chicago Marathon time, which is good. It makes sense because then you're training with a lot of people that are your friends, but maybe you couldn't get in to the Chicago Marathon, or maybe you're local to the Milwaukee area and that's one you'd rather do. And the time of year is nice in this region for it. But it also means that it's going to be really hard for me to do that one. I wish I could. All right. Sam Moon says, shoe question. For half marathon, Invincible versus Speed 2 versus Nova Blast 2. For me, that's going to be the Speed 2. I would definitely have that one. I feel like the Speed 2's got a little bit something on the top end versus the Nova Blast 2, although the Nova Blast 2 would also be a good choice. The Invincible, I feel like it would maybe complain a little bit to be at half marathon pace for that long. I just don't think it loves. Maybe that's just me and the way that I run in it and like my foot strike and stuff, but I just don't think I would love it. I don't know. It's an interesting question, though. I haven't thought about that before, but yeah, I don't think I would. All right. Tracy Tracy Smith said about changing to the race shoes, just trying to save the race shoes, hopefully not being injured. That makes sense. That makes sense. I think the way that Steven Ganoza was doing it, though, I think he changed from like one pair of carbon plated shoes to another pair of carbon plated shoes for the video, which I thought was pretty funny, very funny. All right, am I breaking up, guys? Oh, it does show that I got not great internet connection. Sorry, guys. You know, our internet's been crazy. I don't know what it is about it. I'll try not to move around a lot. Sometimes that helps if I don't move too fast. All right. Sai Nandan Ramisetti says, Nike Vaporfly Next% 2 Engineer Mesh versus the Nike ID Flyknit Upper. Why the midsole feel different while running? Because the upper matters. Not only for the fit on your foot, but the way that your foot feels on the midsole. So when people complain, oh, the Pegasus is here, it's just an upper update, there's more to it than it being just an upper update, right? So that's kind of like a really important thing that I think people have been underappreciating, including myself, for the last several years, is that it makes a huge difference. Take, for example, the Endorphin Pro Plus. As far as I know, they've changed zero about the midsole and outsole for the Endorphin Pro Plus. The only thing that's changed about it is the upper. And it's not just that it's lighter. I mean, they've made some other changes to it slightly to strip it down even further from the regular Endorphin Pro 2. But I think because you change the upper, it does change the midsole effect, the feeling of the midsole. It's literally, it's all connected. And so that's why it feels different. All right, let's do one more. Last one today is the orange. I don't think I've had this orange before. I generally like citrusy stuff, so we'll see if this is good. It smells like Tang. Kind of tastes like Tang. It's a little bit more sour, so more of like a real orange flavor than like the super cloyingly sweet Tang flavor. Have you guys had Tang? Is Tang still a thing? Do they still make it? But this is good. It's hard to pick right now between the watermelon and the orange. This orange is bringing back a lot of nostalgia for me. Just tastes like Sunny D. Tastes like Tang. But the watermelon was also really good too. I'd recommend, guys, just go buy them both. You're going to be happy with it. But if I'm going to pick one, I'm going to go with the orange because I am a citrus guy. So, yeah, I think that Tang is giving me some happy memories. JC says Tang is a drink of my youth. Oh yeah, for sure. Bryce Blankenship says Tang was triple fire. Donovan Lestart says Tang would actually maybe be a good race liquid. Would it? That'd be amazing. You know what would be really amazing is if like someone running through thought they were getting water and just dumped it on themselves and they had Tang all over. Oh, you'd be so sticky gross by the end. Oh man. Daniel loved Tang. Jeff Elliott says Tang is delicious. Vincent says Wu-Tang. There we go. Tracy says Tang and Pop-Tarts. Breakfast of champions. Oh my goodness. Did you really do that? I feel like that is like an equivalent of like soda and Pop Rocks, right? Can you even do that? I feel like you'll hurt yourself if you do. CU76 says, what's your fueling strategy for the race? Tang. Can you imagine if someone showed up and that was their new sponsor? So not Gatorade Endurance, not Scratch, but like, imagine if like someone's, because like, what's his name? I've been watching a lot of his videos. His triathlete. He's sponsored by Freshie, and it says Freshie right underneath on his triathlon suit. Like, can you imagine if it said Tang and it was just like a bright orange tri-suit? That would be awesome. That would be pretty amazing. There's a race walker in Canada who's sponsored by Kraft macaroni and cheese. But I guess in Canada, you don't call it mac and cheese. You call it Kraft dinner. So like, those have been awesome to watch too. Like I really feel like we're onto something here, guys, where like runners or people in the endurance sports or community need to start reaching out to some of these other brands. and figure out ways to collaborate and maybe get sponsored. We saw Rebecca Mira getting sponsored by cheese. St. Pierre, she's got a milk sponsorship, which makes a lot of sense. I feel like she should work on the board for the American Dairy Association. But also, like, I feel like there's that. I feel like we need to get someone sponsored by Tang. I feel like the big thing that's missing, though, oh, yeah, Matt LeGrand. It's Lionel Sanders, yeah. You know, I'm really starting to like Lionel Sanders, by the way. There's something about him. At first, I just thought he was like a real, like, bro jerk, but there's like a new Lionel Sanders coming out in some of the latest videos. Anyway, but like, other than Tang, can you imagine if someone was sponsored by Kool-Aid and then their thing became at every race, they had like one of those things that you could jump through like for football games, but like it was like, can you imagine like someone's like lining up for the Chicago Marathon and then like everyone's like all close together and then all of a sudden there's like this big rectangle of paper and then someone jumps through and goes, oh yeah, right? And pops through it and they're sponsored by Kool-Aid. How fun. That would be so much fun. I feel like some people would think that they were mocking the sport if that happened, but I think that would be amazing. I would really enjoy that. I want someone to be sponsored by Kool-Aid. Yeah. JC says, yes, the astronauts drank Tang, or so they said. Yeah, did we ever get confirmation on that? If I ever meet an astronaut, I'm going to ask them if they actually had Tang. Matt says, you see interesting companies sponsor Japanese runners. Really? Oh, I want to know more about that. If I were to ever be sponsored by a Japanese company, I would want to be sponsored by the Hokkaido Soap Company. The one that had the soap box that looked like Homer. Remember that one? That's what I want. I would love to have like, you know, I feel like cycling jerseys are really fun. There's just a lot more color, patterns. It's just more fun than like racing singlets. And I feel like having like that Homer soapbox fish thing on like the back of a cycling jersey or maybe the front would just absolutely be amazing. I feel like someone needs to do that. All right. Vivek Bala says, you have to have a basketball player do that. With the Kool-Aid, I think that'd be fun. That'd be fun. Yeah. Jason Dawson, sign me up to be sponsored by White Castle. You would show up with like just show up to a race with a Crave case and be like, I got your race nutrition right here, and just start handing out sliders. That'd be amazing. That'd be so funny. Oh man, that's so fun. That is so fun. All right, guys. I think that's a great place to leave it for today. I got to get going. Today's video was supposed to be something else, but everything got pushed back to tomorrow. So tomorrow's video is going to come out at 7 o'clock in the morning Central Time. So something fun will be happening then. So if you guys want to check that out, that's for tomorrow. I think you guys might be able to kind of guess what it is. If you guys have been watching like the Instagram stories lately, then you might be able to know what we're going to see tomorrow at 7 a.m. Be ready for that. And then after that, what's tomorrow? Friday. We'll do another live stream. Same time as today, 1 p.m. Central Time. Hopefully I'll see you then. And in the meantime, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.